Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're joining from, and thank you for being here. My name is Jason Fitzgerald, Vice President of Product and Support for Blustream here in the US, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to join us for this short but focused session on one of our most anticipated releases, the Blustream ACM1000. While this isn't going to be a big deep dive, it will be a short first introduction to the new additions that bring innovative control capabilities above and beyond what our current ACM210 advanced IP controller is capable of today. Now, this product is the direct result of feedback from integration partners like you, those working in the field every day and helping shape what AV over IP should look like. We've taken that insight and built something smarter, more flexible, and more powerful to manage our platforms. Before we begin, a quick note, all microphones are muted to minimize any background noise. And if you have questions, please use the chat or Q&A feature at any point, and we'll do our best to address them live or circle back at the end. So let's go ahead and kick things off with a quick look back at the ACM210, which has served as the backbone for our AV over IP management platform for the past few years, and see how that foundation has evolved into the ACM1000. So let's start with why use a Blustream control module in the first place. And the answer is actually simple. It's all about making deployment and management easier, more efficient, and more reliable. First, the control module acts as your centralized configuration hub, and rather than addressing each encoder and decoder individually, it walks you through a streamlined setup process, ensuring that every device is detected, addressed, and deployed correctly with minimal effort. Second, it serves as a bridge between two network environments, now typically between the AV over IP VLAN and the client's main controller corporate network. This segmentation helps ensure that heavy AV traffic doesn't disrupt general network performance and vice versa. And third, it's your gateway to third-party control platforms. So whether you're working with Crestron, Control4, Savant, QSys, or others, the ACM module allows seamless integration using Blustream's drivers and plugins, all of which are available on our website and ready for download. Ultimately, the control module is what brings the system together, functionally, reliably, and flexibly. So then naturally, the ACM210 has been at the heart of our AV over IP deployments for several years. It's primarily served as the network bridge, connecting the VLAN hosting our encoders and decoders to the client's main control network. It not only facilitates initial system configuration, but also provides ongoing access for management and control once the system is live. And while the ACM210 has been a reliable and powerful tool, it functions primarily as a command redirector. It takes simple API commands, translates them into the syntax required by the devices in the AV over IP system, and sends them along, one at a time. For the majority of installation, that's been more than sufficient. But as AV systems become more complex and demand greater flexibility, we've seen the limitations of the ACM210's design, mainly due to the absence of onboard processing power. And that's why we developed the ACM1000. It's built on the same foundational tool set as the ACM210, so the experience is familiar, but it adds a dedicated processor to serve as the system's intelligent control brain. This unlocks a whole new level of advanced functionality, giving us and you more freedom to support custom features, expand system intelligence, and meet the growing demands of modern AV deployments. Now let's take a moment to give you a high-level overview of the new ACM1000 and the advanced features we're rolling out with this next-generation control module. At launch, the ACM1000 will support our IP200 UHD and IP300 UHD AV over IP platforms. Stage 2, which we expect around Q2 of 2026, will bring support for the IP50 HD family. That's our 1080p solution. And while the ACM500, which manages our IP500 UHD TZ, will continue to serve our SDVoE-based solution platforms. We anticipate possible integration with the ACM1000 as part of a Stage 3 update, likely in the second half of 2026. Importantly, everything you're used to with the ACM210 is still here. The user interface is built on the same platform, so existing users will feel right at home. I'll walk you through the new UI here shortly, but here's where things get exciting. These are the new features available at launch with the ACM1000. right? With an inbuilt quad-core processor, commands are now processed simultaneously. For example, video wall switching, which was previously done sequentially, is now truly concurrent across all displays. And this is something I can tell you has been long something people have been asking for, to make sure that priority is given to layout switches, right? And preset switches when it comes to video walls. The ACM1000 also adds full multi-threading, allowing for control commands like IR or serial to be converted and routed to any endpoint in the system, streamlining source and display control. We've simplified guest mode for direct control of encoders and decoders, so no more clunky connection handshakes. This is now a seamless experience for integrators. You can now define and control groups of receivers, sending commands to entire display banks at once. There's also preset switching, which is now supported, and integrators can build and recall fixed TX to RX routing maps with a single button press. You can also store IR, serial, and CEC commands directly in this module for quick, precise recall to any device in the system. And then there's the new macro feature, which allows for multiple control actions to be chained together, which is ideal for powering zones, setting inputs, and more in just one step. A built-in 24/7 scheduling tool allows for automation, triggering actions at specific times of day or days of the week. And finally, we've added enhanced security tools to better protect system access in sensitive environments. Now, these are just some of the upgrades that elevate the ACM1000 well beyond what was possible with the ACM210. Now, let's take a look at the user interface, and I'll show you exactly how some of these features come to life. So here you can see that we've maintained the same intuitive visual interface, making it easy to click, drag, and drop any source to any display within the system. So no learning curve, no extra steps, just simple, reliable control. What's new though is added flexibility in how you view the system. You can now toggle between two layout modes, one that shows screen captures for easy source identification, and a new grid or matrix view that's common in our other products that removes thumbnails to maximize how many transmitters and receivers can be seen on a single page. And this is particularly helpful for larger systems or dense video wall applications where clarity and quick access are key. One of the standout new features in the ACM1000 is the ability to create and manage groups of receivers. Now, this lets you logically group displays together and assign them a name like outdoor TVs or bar area or meeting rooms based on how the space is used. So instead of sending individual commands to each display, a user can now switch an entire group to a single source with just one drag and drop action or a pre-programmed API command. For example, in a sports bar with multiple zones, staff can instantly send the game feed to all outdoor TVs in one step, so there's really no need to control each display separately. It's a simple but powerful way to streamline control in larger or multi-zone environments, making day-to-day operation easier for end users and staff alike. Now, building on that same theme of simplified control, the preset function of the ACM1000 allows you to create and recall fixed input and output configurations across part or all of the system. For example, you might define a preset that routes specific sources to a predefined set of displays for a scheduled event, like a meeting setup, or even just daily operations. Importantly, presets don't need to include the entire system. You can target just a subset of receivers, meaning only the selected displays are affected while the rest of the system continues running as is. Presets can be named for easy identification, and like groups, they can be triggered directly from the user interface or called by a single API command from a third-party control platform. It's a clean, efficient way to manage repeatable routing scenarios with minimal complexity. Now, here's the new advanced control tab within the ACM1000 interface, and that's where all of the processed control functions are now organized. Starting with the first sub-tab, this is where integrators can preload IR, CEC, or RS-232 commands for any source device in the system. Now, these commands can be triggered either directly from the ACM1000 user interface or via API from a third-party control system. Commands can be named, manually entered, or imported from previous configurations. You can also test commands live from this interface to confirm functionality, and where RS-232 is used, you have full control over carriage return, line feed, or both, based on the specific device requirements. The next tab in sequence, Display, manages display-specific control commands, giving you a clean separation between source and display control for easier ongoing maintenance. And here's an important note based on our philosophy. Blustream is a control-agnostic manufacturer. Unlike some brands, we don't lock you into a proprietary control ecosystem. Instead, our goal is to seamlessly integrate with all major third-party platforms, whether that's Crestron, Control4, QSys, Savant, etc. Because of this, we give you full flexibility to input and manage the commands you need without forcing you to rely on pre-built drivers or static third-party device libraries, which we don't have. Now, the next feature is the remote function, designed to provide a quick and easy way to recall saved IR, serial, or CEC commands directly from the drag and drop control page. This creates a simple, customizable virtual remote for controlling individual sources or displays without the need for a full third-party control system, right? A set of predefined command icons is included, and you can rename each button to suit the function it performs. These remotes can be set up per device, so each source or display can have its own control layout if needed. While we don't expect this to be a primary feature in most deployments, it's particularly helpful in projects without a dedicated control system or where budget constraints prevent one from being implemented. For instance, in our sports bar example, staff could have a simple remote interface with just channel up and down for a satellite box, allowing them to switch games quickly and easily, right from the ACM1000 interface. Now, when a remote has been configured for a specific display or AV over IP receiver, you'll see a new icon appear in the top left corner of the drag and drop control page, just like what's shown here on screen. Clicking this icon brings up a dedicated remote window, showing only the buttons that have been assigned for the active source and display. This allows for quick ad hoc control of devices without needing to leave the main interface or access a separate control platform. It's a lightweight but powerful tool for environments like sports bars, hospitality, or smaller projects where a full control system might not be required. Now here's the macros tab within the ACM1000, and really gives integrators a powerful way to automate complex system behaviors with ease. You have access up to 30 individual macros, and each macro can contain up to 10 commands. Now, whether those are switching, control, or environmental commands. Macros can be triggered in multiple ways: via API command, from the GPIO port on the ACM1000, or even from a no signal state detected on an endpoint. Now, these can be applied to individual transmitters, receivers, or even groups of receivers, offering great flexibility for how and where they're used. We've also built in delay and repeat functionality, giving you precise control over command timing, especially in more complex sequencing scenarios. Now, finally, let's touch on the scheduling capabilities now available in the ACM1000. This feature allows you to automatically trigger macros, the same ones that we just discussed, based on specific times and days of the week. Now, whether it's powering systems on or off, switching to a default source, or resetting a video wall overnight, these events can now run entirely hands-free. In addition to scheduling, we've made some thoughtful efficiency improvements across the interface. One example, which is based directly on feedback, is the firmware update process, which you can now update multiple devices sequentially without having to manually intervene between each one. It's a small change, but a major time saver for large installs. There are a few more minor enhancements sprinkled throughout the UI, but I'm not going to take up more of your time covering the more straightforward ones, here today. And like I said, it was going to be a short introduction, but hopefully this is giving everybody a little preview of what's available on the oncoming Blustream ACM1000. Of course, you can look out for a much more deep dive and instructional videos that we'll be developing as we come to launch this exciting new product. The hardware is currently in production, and if all goes to plan, we expect units to be arriving in our warehouse around early November. Pricing is being finalized now, and it'll be shared with our distribution and other partners in the coming weeks. And as mentioned earlier, Stage 2 and Stage 3 development is already underway, and we're excited to bring you even more features and interoperability options as our product evolves before release. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. If there are features or enhancements that would make your installations easier, please let us know. I'll be sharing my direct email in just a few moments, and I genuinely welcome your feedback. The dedicated ACM1000 product page is being finalized now also, and will go live in a couple of weeks ahead of the stock landing, so definitely keep an eye out. For more information on any Blustream AV distribution product, go ahead and visit our website or contact your authorized Blustream distributor, and they'll be happy to help with system design or questions about availability. And lastly, follow us on social media to stay up to date with our latest product launches and announcements. Now, before we move into Q&A, just again a quick note, you can download our brand new 2025 solutions brochure directly from the homepage of the Blustream website. And of course, if you have any specific questions or need support on an upcoming project, feel free to reach out to our technical team in your region. We're always happy to help, and that's myself included. And you can see my email here on screen. And that will officially wrap up today's quick session on the ACM1000. I want to thank you again for your time and for your interest and everything as we're building up here at Blustream in the US. Now, let's take a look at some of your questions that have come in, right? And if there aren't anything further than that, I'll simply say thank you once again, and I hope we get the chance to connect with you in person very soon. All right, let's take a look and see what we got.